Crystal, thanks for that report. The biggest game of the year calls for the very best of football broadcast teams.
And who else would that be but 8 News Now chief investigator George Knapp joining us now. He sat down with Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, and Tracy Wolfson, all going to be working hard on Sunday. George?
Hey, you know, Sunday Showdown is not only the Super Bowl for NFL players, it's also sort of the Super Bowl for sports media and sports journalism. Every major sports news outlet in the world has sent their very best to cover this event, including CBS, which of course will be carrying the game. The A team for CBS is Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson. Romo says he was the quarterback of the Cowboys, so he's used to high-pressure moments. Nantz is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a broadcaster. This will be the team's third Super Bowl together. They told me how this will be the biggest one yet.
I'm old enough here in Las Vegas to remember when Las Vegas could not even buy an ad in the Super Bowl, and now we're hosting it. How improbable does that seem to you?
It happened fast. I mean, it would have been 10 years ago. Impossible to believe that it evolved to this point. But, you know, now that it's all open, it's just the beginning. It's just the start. Everybody's going to be flooding here. Every league's going to have a team here. Already halfway there with more coming. So I'm excited about it. For us to be able to have the first Super Bowl ever in Las Vegas, it's one of the high water marks of our careers.
Why don't you tell them about what you thought about Vegas Super Bowl-wise? Biggest event here?
I think that it's hard to say something's the biggest, the best, whatever, particularly when you have a city as important in terms of entertainment and showbiz as Las Vegas. But there is nothing that's ever been this big in Las Vegas. The biggest show ever. And that's not hyperbole.
We do big events here on a regular basis. Well. This is a big one.
Yeah.
Part of history.
What do you think about the stadium?
I love the stadium. First off, I mean, it's raining right now in Vegas, and I was not expecting that. Yeah. So thank God there's a roof on the stadium, because I'm used to the elements. These guys complain, but they're always up in the booth, and they cannot be doing that. But, you know, I love it. We only had the chance to be here once earlier this year, and I thought, you know, the field is fantastic. You know, the stadium itself, the fans right on top. Not much room on those sidelines, so you're feeling the fans in your face when you're playing there. And it is an incredible environment, and I'm sure it's going to only be heightened in the Super Bowl.
I know that the NFL wants parity. They don't want the same teams in the big game every year. These teams met 4 years ago, but it feels like the marquee matchup, does it not?
I think if you started the year and you went back to day one, you would have said these are probably the two teams. You might have thrown Philadelphia in there, but truly, these were the teams who were just destined to kind of be here. And it's kind of proven out that way. I mean, Kansas City had a ton of adversity this year, but Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, they're a hair different than most. And so they found a way to get here.
A lot of glamour around these teams that maybe has nothing to do with the field.
Really?
I think I know what he's talking about. George. George. Yes.
George.
There's vast interest in this game beyond the parameters of the field. Yeah. So it's going to lead to this. I'm going to say it right now. Okay. Everybody says, what's your prediction for the game? My prediction for the game is the most watched show in the history of television.
Your preparation. So you do your homework every week for whatever game you're covering. And is there extra prep for this? Because everything you say, every utterance, every syllable is going to be analyzed and reanalyzed.
Well, now I'm not doing the game. That just scares me, George. I mean, how am I going to get through this? Gosh.
We've done it before.
Yeah.
And you do remind yourself you've done it before, because it does come at you like, oh God, we're doing the Super Bowl.
The week itself
I know
comes at you.
But
very
once
fast.
the day arrives, you kind of fall into that bubble that we've been here, and that's comforting.
Coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll have the second half of that interview, including what this trio thinks about the Raiders hiring Antonio Pierce to be their new head coach. Brian and Denise, back to you.